Hello and welcome to my room. Sorry it's been so long. I started a new job and I started at the end of April and I've been primarily focused on that. So it's been a while, so I do apologize. But I'm going to make a very good effort to try and get a new video up at least on Sundays. So be on the lookout on Sundays for new videos. And a lot has happened since I last spoke to you. So I'm going to be talking about a wide variety of things. So to answer the question, where have I been? I've just been focusing on my new job and my family, and I just haven't really concentrated on YouTube. So that's the main thing right there, is that I just haven't been focusing on YouTube. And the last video that I spoke to you guys about, I believe it was about the rumors about AI being used for the upcoming new in quotes Beatles song, which, even though they haven't said the words specific, officially yet, it's going to be now and then. And Sean coming out and saying that the AI is being used to clean up the track, the technology that Peter Jackson used for the Get Back documentary. That's what's being used for this. And I felt that would be the final word on the whole thing. Instead, Beatle expert Penn Jillette of Penn and Teller fame, he came out and said all the AI that they used AI to make Paul's voice sound younger from back then, and circa 1995, 96, when they were originally working on this, and they used backing vocals from this Beatles song, and it's like, well, people were making comments about that. And again, the one thing I want to say about that is, hey, I love Penn and Teller, no issues with Penn Jillette at all, but I'm gonna listen to what Sean said about the whole thing, and that's where I'm going to leave it. Once the official announcement comes out, then I might have a bit more to say about it. But until then, I don't think we should be jumping to conclusions on this at all. I think we should still just take a wait and see approach. And again, I heard that this is part of a reconfiguration of the Red and Blue albums. For those that don't know, here they are, by the way. No, I'm not going to go dig them out. Go back to several years ago of videos where I do a video on the post breakup compilations. You'll see my copies there. But yeah, it's the Red album from 1962 to 1966, and the Blue album 1967 to 1970. They both came out at the same time. In 1973, they were a huge success, on par with the Beach Boys' Endless Summer compilation, and that's a different story. But they were extremely popular. It was supposedly curated by the Beatles themselves, and they reissued them on CD in, I believe it was 2010, using the 2009 remastered editions of the songs. No complaint from me there. So now this is going to be supposedly a new revamped Red and Blue album. I don't know if it's going to be special mixes like they did in the John Lennon Give Me Some Truth compilation, the ultimate mixes that they called it, which were just mixes exclusive to that compilation. I don't know if they're doing something similar. I don't know if I'm excited for a new Red and Blue reissue. I don't know. It's like I've got all these songs in different configurations. Unless they're going to be new exclusive mixes for this set, then I think we might have something to talk about. But I, I could understand including Free as a Bird and Real Love and Now and Then on there. In fact, I think a new mix of Free as a Bird would be welcomed, especially getting that distortion out of John's voice. I know why they did it. I know why Jeff Emmerich at the time said they did it, but I think that might be a good idea. But there's still other stuff in the can, and I wouldn't even mind if they did like an Apple Music streaming, rarities set of all the stuff in the can from 1967. Even if it's mindless jams. I know everybody still wants the Paul McCartney-led sound collage Carnival of Light that they were all involved in during the making of Sgt. Pepper. You've heard my thoughts on that. I think it would probably be the biggest anti-climax of the Beatles' career with everything in the can, but it's good to get it out there in some way, shape, or form. Other than that, I don't know. I'm going to take a wait-and-see approach. There's so many rumors out there as far as what's going on. I'm going to go and wait until we hear something official. I did hear that it looks like we might get a Back to the Egg box set. Paul McCartney Wings Back to the Egg box set. I welcome that. I want it to be affordable, mind you. And I welcome that because I would love a DVD or Blu-ray of the Back to the Egg special and the Rockestra documentary, an official release or re-release of the Rockestra documentary again. For us fans who know of the two Rockestra recordings, it would have been nice if he would have just done a Rockestra album, man. That would have been great. So stay tuned on those. So that's the Beatle news. Before I forget, two sad obituaries for me. One is film related and one is music related. Let's just get this out of the way. I was heartbroken, very heartbroken, when I got the news that Robbie Robertson died. Out of all the members of the band, he would have been the one that I thought would have survived the longest. And I don't want to get into the whole Levon versus Robbie debate and all of that stuff. The fact is, they made peace when Levon died. Robbie always had kind things to say about all of them and never a nasty word about any of them, so I think we should leave it at that. I'm sure wherever Levon, Richard Manuel, and Rick Danko, and now Robbie are at, they're getting together and they are making music just like they did in the Big Pink House and waiting for Garth, because I don't think it's going to be too long for Garth, because Garth has had a lot of major health issues. But Robbie still looked good for his age. He just turned 80. Can you believe that? 80. And I did not know he had health issues. So that was a shock to me. I immediately was having a band fest. I have all 4 box sets, even though I think Cahoots was a bit overpriced. But I have Big Pink. I have the band album. I have Stage Fright. And I now have Cahoots. So I was digging into those box sets. And of course I played The Last Waltz on 4K Blu-ray from Criterion. So I had a bit of a cry over that one. And another one on the film front, William Friedkin. He just completed his last film, the Caine Mutiny trial, I think that's what it was. Director Guillermo del Toro was on set as an insurance option in case anything happened to him. Guillermo could step right in and finish the movie. Again, I didn't know that there was anything wrong with Friedkin. He's one of my favorite filmmakers. And some of his movies, you know The French Connection, you know The Exorcist. And those are must-sees in my opinion. But if you haven't seen Sorcerer, see Sorcerer. If you haven't seen To Live and Die in L.A., see To Live and Die in L.A. If you haven't seen Killer Joe, see Killer Joe. I was having a freaking film fest going back to the beginning of his film career, with the exception of the Sonny and Cher film, Good Times. I watched The Boys in the Band. I watched Late Night at Minsky's, and I was watching Sorcerer. I watched Cruising. It seemed like post-Exorcist, everybody liked to say, oh, Friedkin was known for having two great films. Fuck you, Peter Biskind, and your so-called obituary. Fuck you. Fuck you and your Easy Riders and Raging Bulls muckraking book, okay? And that's what I'm going to say. I'll say it one more time. Fuck you, Peter Biskind. Friedkin has a body of work that, in my opinion, is very interesting and worth seeing. Even Blue Chips with Shaq. Even Jade, okay? Some of them might not be as good as The Exorcist, but I can tell you right now, Sorcerer, Cruising, Killer Joe, To Live and Die in L.A. are as good as The French Connection and The Exorcist. So I urge you to see those movies if you haven't. And so, rest in peace, Robbie Robertson and William Friedkin. It's a difficult topic for me because after my father passed in 2019, now all these people I looked up to growing up are going. And it really gets me in my gut. And it becomes personal. My mom is 70. She's going to be 71. I don't think of her as that age. I just turned 50. So believe me, the inner anxiety is there whenever I hear about a loss like that. So just to kind of wrap things up here, yes, I did take part in Barbieheimer weekend. I saw Barbie opening weekend on a Saturday, and I saw Oppenheimer in IMAX, true IMAX, 70 millimeter film IMAX that Sunday. And I have seen them both again, and I got to tell you, both of them are amazing films. And honestly, from two filmmakers, Greta Gerwig, I was a fan of her since I saw Lady Bird, and I loved her film of Little Women. So prior to the whole Barbie hype, I was excited to see it because she's one of those filmmakers that I'm like, oh, what's she gonna do next? And in my opinion, she didn't disappoint. And Christopher Nolan, Oppenheimer, I'm happy that the both of them are big hits, and unfortunately Hollywood is going to take away the wrong lessons from these films. Instead of getting better stories out there and investing in filmmakers that have something to say, what you're going to get is, oh, Barbie was a hit. Let's get more movies about action figures and toys, which is not the message that should be taken from Barbie being a big hit, with an original script by Greta Gerwig and her husband, director-writer Noah Baumbach. So what we should be looking at is maybe having better stories out there, investing in filmmakers that have something to say. That's the lesson I take away from this. And I will say, in the Barbie Oppenheimer hype, we did lose the latest Mission Impossible. It got lost in that shuffle. I think Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie should have moved the release date, because it's not the best of the Mission Impossible films. That still goes to Fallout. But, man, it would have been great to see. They should have moved it to another weekend. And now with the writer's strike and the Screen Actors Guild strike, the studios are starting to do the ha-ha, we'll show them. And Dune Part 2 has been postponed to 2024. I get the actors are not going to be able to promote it and all that other stuff, but I do think it was a matter of, haha, we will show you. That's just my theory, but that's the big updates and all of that that's been going on. So thank you so much, as always, for sticking with me. Hopefully you're not getting too much peas popping on my condenser mic, which I'm going to use from now on. And I think this is a pretty good angle. So, trying to get more professional. Next time I'll have my ring light in the back there. So, thank you so much for sticking with me. And till the next time you're in my room, peace and love, and I'll talk to you soon.